other choice. Yuichiro left Michaela. In the meantime, Michaela finally heard the words Yuichiro, who mentioned the word family. On the other side, Yuichiro managed to get out of a cave. He came to a very quiet outside world. That's when a bunch of people came and met him. One of them, named Asino Segurin, asked, "Would Yuichiro want to be used as a vampire exterminator?" Yuichiro hugged the man and said he would do anything to eradicate those vampires. For years have passed since that incident. Yuichiro is training and ready to face the monsters. He came to the location where battles against monsters are. He was asked why he was in the fight. Yuichiro himself went straight forward and used his sword to face the monster. In several attacks, he managed to defeat the giant monster. It turns out that Yuichiro didn't immediately join them. Member of the vampire exterminator. Even the desert asked him to go to school. Same with civilians. Throughout the lesson, he was made to death. Because he remembered his encounter with the desert for years ago, Yuichiro wondered why mankind was still in the outside world. Desert said that Yuichiro and other kids have been duped by the vampires. But it is true that a deadly virus is already spreading. The result is only 1% of the human population that have survived until now. Since the trumpet was heard, a deadly virus begins to spread, and the monsters, including vampires, began to appear in the world. That's why Gyurin and their groups organized to exterminate monsters, and the Gyurin invited Yuichiro to join. But since said that Gyurin instead abandoned Yuichiro in that ordinary school for grumbling and not paying attention to the lesson. The teacher also reprimanded Yuichiro. If he continues to be wayward like that, then he will be suspended. Heard it. Yuichiro was even excited and wanted to be suspended by the teacher immediately. But the girl behind him, named Sanoa, tell her something. Apparently, Sanoa was one of the members of a desert-led squad. He was specially assigned to be the supervisor. Yuichiro there. If Yuichiro is suspended, then his sentence will also be extended. When recess comes, other kids left the classroom right away besides Yuichiro and Sanoa. At that time, Sanoa said that he was told by the desert that Yuichiro didn't want to be friends for fear of losing there. That's why one of the conditions for Yuichiro to be accepted into the Gyurin is Yuichiro should have a friend. Yuichiro left Sanoa, but the girl follows him wherever he goes. In one of the corridors, Yuichiro sees Yoichi, who is being bullied. Some people led by Yamanaka. At first Yuichiro didn't care and decided to leave. But he can't stand it and defend Yoichi. He was ready to fight Yamanaka, but Sanoa said that beating up civilians will also increase his sentence. Eventually Yuichiro and Yoichi did what Yamanaka asked for. Yoichiro asked why Yoichi was bullied. But Yoichi said that he wasn't bullied. It turns out that Yamanaka is a candidate for the monster extermination force, and Yoichi wants to approach her. Yoichi himself wanted to become an extermination squad because her brother was killed by a vampire. To protect it, Yuichiro was annoyed because people like Yamanaka could be candidates. Monster extermination. That's when an explosion appeared from a distance. Announcement that a vampire had escaped scrutiny began to appear. All the students had to evacuate themselves. Even so, Yuichiro instead ran towards the explosion. He took his sword and gun in the locker, and then ran towards where the vampire was. In a class, he saw Yamanaka, who was scared. In front of them, there's a female vampire who sucks the blood of a chick, and Yuichiro immediately fought against the female vampire. Yuichiro managed to slash the vampire's hand until it was stumped. He can also injure the vampire in some parts. But it turns out the vampire can reconnect his hands, and he was also able to treat every wounds that were on his body. Yuichiro asked Yamanaka for help because he is the candidate for demon slayers, but it turns out Yamanaka just bragged about it. Yuichiro had to fight alone. Once upon a time, the vampire is eyeing back the girl at the table, but Yoichi came and stopped him.
Yamero!